like an investor that has a house where they want to make a return, kind of a lease option purchase. And so really in that scenario, like the way it's supposed to work, not my negative explanation of it, but I'm pretty hard with the truth. I think that's what people like about me, is I'm not gonna fluff it up. I'm gonna say what other people aren't gonna say because people want to be professional. I'm professional, but I'm going to tell you what people don't want to hear. My aunt has done this in Utah on properties she's owned, and so she'll do that scenario, and she's taken properties back 2 or 3 times because they couldn't keep the property. Plans changed with that person. She greatly benefited from it. But again, she didn't put a lot of money into the house when she did that. So like, things broke. They couldn't keep up with the repairs, the new proposed, person that was doing the rent to own. But on some success story levels, she's done it where the end game was to get that person's credit in a position where, yes, they could buy, they love the house, the location, everything that they wanted to be in. So she did that, and then a couple years later, she was able to get them to actually hard close and refinance her, finance her out of that deal. And that's really the way it's supposed to work. But the reality is, you got to watch out. There's a lot of people out there that put a minimal amount of work. For instance, I have rentals right now that I'm putting in $10,000 and $12,000 in plumbing, and people about fall on the floor when they hear me say that. But we're going to the level of, some of them even have tenants in them where we're busting out the concrete. Most average people couldn't afford to put that kind of money into it, and we're having to replace the drain pipes within the actual concrete slab of the home itself because they're collapsed. We're hitting mud. There's a series of old problem issues with the cast iron piping. And so I can tell you most investors don't go to the level I do, but I can guarantee you why I have a lot of success, because I do put a fair amount of money in the properties I own. So with that level of experience, I think it puts me ahead of a lot of people knowing that type of stuff. And so I just advise, if you're going to do that, be very careful. But a lot of times that those things happen, it's an investor and a buyer that's involved, and generally a realtor is not necessarily involved in that scenario. So nobody knows, because every time I've gotten my hands on someone that has been in one of those scenarios, they didn't know all the things until it was a year or 2 later, and things just spiraled out of control. Dishwasher broke, this plumbing, they couldn't get the HVAC fixed. They didn't know, and nor did they get an inspection. And so anyways, like I said, buyer beware on that.